King Mswati III of Eswatini has faced criticism for his lavish spending habits.
Some suggest the king should cut back to help the cash-strapped kingdom save money. His government insists the king is a responsible spender,
which differ greatly from the financial struggles experienced by many of his people. His expensive cars, private jets, and luxurious properties have drawn attention to the wide gap between the king's wealth and the poverty that affects a large percentage of the population in his country. Born Makosidav Dlamini, Mswati III ascended to the throne in 1986 at the age of 18, succeeding his father, King Sobhuza II. As the head of the Swazi royal family, he wields absolute power over the nation, with the authority to appoint the prime minister, cabinet members, and judges. Eswatini, a small landlocked country in southern Africa, is home to approximately 1.1 million people. Despite its natural beauty and cultural richness, the nation faces significant economic and social challenges. According to World Bank data, 63% of the population lives below the poverty line, with 29% living in extreme poverty. The country also grapples with a high HIV/AIDS prevalence rate of nearly 27%, which has had a profound impact on life expectancy and overall health outcomes. In stark contrast to the hardships endured by his subjects, King Mswati III maintains an extravagant lifestyle that has drawn criticism from both local and international observers. One of the most visible displays of his wealth is his extensive collection of luxury vehicles. According to reports, King Mswati III has an impressive collection of expensive cars. He owns 19 Rolls-Royces and 120 BMWs, with some of these cars costing as much as $500,000 each. One of his most prized cars is a Rolls-Royce Phantom, which is worth about $450,000. This luxury car has a very powerful engine that allows it to go very fast, reaching speeds of up to 250 kilometers per hour. It can also go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 5.3 seconds, which is incredibly quick. The Rolls-Royce. The king also owns a Bentley Flying Spur. This car is worth around $214,000 and has an even more powerful engine than the Phantom. The Bentley can reach an extremely fast top speed of 333 kilometers per hour, making it one of the fastest cars in the king's collection. These expensive cars are just a few examples of the king's wealth and his love for luxury vehicles. In addition to his impressive car collection, King Mswati III has a penchant for private jets. In 2012, he acquired a McDonnell Douglas MD-87, estimated to cost $17 million. The renovated aircraft served as the king's personal jet for several years before he decided to upgrade to a more luxurious option. For his 50th birthday in 2018, Mswati III purchased a $16 million Airbus, a 340-300 from China Airlines in Taiwan. The acquisition of the Airbus caused widespread public outrage, with reports suggesting that up to $400,000 in food aid promised to the Swaziland Red Cross was lost due to the plane's purchase. King Mswati III owns a large number of expensive properties, including multiple luxurious palaces located throughout Eswatini. His main residence, known as the Lozitha Royal Palace, is famous for its lavish interior design. The palace features hallways decorated with gold, adorned with bouquets of red roses, and illuminated by crystal chandeliers. One of the most impressive rooms in the palace is the expansive golden conference room, which is embellished with intricate red and gold tapestries. These extravagant properties showcase the king's immense wealth and his taste for opulent surroundings, which stand in stark contrast to the living conditions of many of his subjects. In 2004, the king reportedly gifted one of his girlfriends $15 million to redecorate 3 of his palaces and construct new ones for each of his 11 wives at the time. The same year, the royal family spent an additional $4 million to commission 5 new state homes. These lavish expenditures occurred despite the nation's ongoing struggles with poverty and limited access to essential services. King Mswati III's vast wealth extends beyond his personal possessions and properties. As the largest landowner in Africa, he controls 60% of the country's land, amounting to 1 million hectares of farmland. This concentration of land ownership highlights the stark economic disparities within Eswatini, as the king has the power to evict citizens without compensation, leaving them with little recourse. The king's 15 wives, known as queens, and his 23 children also lead lives of luxury, often at the expense of the Swazi people. The queens are frequently spotted on international shopping sprees, purchasing designer clothing and accessories from high-end brands such as Versace, Tommy Hilfiger, and Burberry. In one instance, a princess reportedly spent $820 on a studded backpack, an amount that far exceeds the annual income of most Swazi citizens. Mswati III's children also enjoy a life of privilege, traveling overseas to destinations like Los Angeles and London for lavish parties and events. The king spares no expense when it comes to celebrating his children's birthdays, with one prince reportedly hosting an underwater-themed party in Dubai for his 23rd birthday. The way King Mswati III and his family spend money has been strongly criticized by people in Eswatini and other countries. Many people believe that the king's spending is not only wrong, but also takes away money that could be used to help the country's serious problems, like poverty, healthcare, and education. They think the money spent on the king's lavish lifestyle would be better used to improve the lives of the Swazi people, who face many hardships. In 2011, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, criticized Swaziland for diverting funds meant for education and health to support the royal family's lavish expenditures. As a result, the IMF withdrew its economic advisory team from the country, citing concerns over the misallocation of resources. The United States, in its annual Fiscal Transparency Review, has also highlighted the lack of oversight regarding the spending of public money by the king and his family. Despite the widespread poverty and growing discontent among the population, King Mswati III maintains a tight grip on power. Political parties are banned in Eswatini, and any criticism of the king or the government can result in prosecution under the Public Order Act, leading to fines and imprisonment. This restrictive political environment has made it challenging for citizens to voice their concerns and advocate for change. However, the king's rule has not gone unchallenged. In recent years, protests and calls for democratic reforms have emerged, fueled by frustrations over economic mismanagement and the perceived neglect of the population's needs. Activists and human rights organizations continue to push for greater transparency, accountability, and political pluralism in the country. The lifestyle of King Mswati III and the Swazi royal family serves as a microcosm of the broader issues facing Eswatini and other nations grappling with the challenges of modernization and democratization. While the king's cultural and historical significance cannot be dismissed, the stark contrast between his opulence and the hardships endured by his subjects raises serious questions about the role of monarchy in the 21st century. As Eswatini navigates its future, the international community and the Swazi people will undoubtedly continue to scrutinize the actions and expenditures of King Mswati III. The path forward for the nation will likely involve a delicate balance between preserving cultural heritage, addressing socio-economic disparities, and embracing political reforms that prioritize the well-being of all citizens. Ultimately, the future of Eswatini and the fate of its monarchy will be determined by the collective actions of its citizens, leaders, and international partners. As the world watches, it remains to be seen how the nation will navigate the complex interplay of tradition, power, and the pressing need for social and economic progress. King Mswati III's lifestyle shows the problems faced by countries with kings and queens in a time when people want democracy and fairness. Eswatini has to find a way to balance tradition and the needs of its people. What do you think about the king's lifestyle? Do you think countries with monarchies can change with the times? Tell us in the comments.